Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm joined in my kitchen by Duke, right? Say hi. Hi. Today we are making bone broth, otherwise known as chicken stock, otherwise known as complete glorious liquid that is really easy to make homemade. Super easy. The reason we're doing is because we had a rotisserie chicken earlier. So you can see this whole plate of bones and stuff sitting here. And I'm gonna walk you through how to make bone broth. Like I said, it's super easy. I use my Instant Pot. I like using the Instant Pot because it's really quick. It'll be done in less than an hour. You can also use a crock pot. You can use a stove top, just a stock pot or a pressure cooker on the stove top. But I really think the easiest and most efficient way is to use the Instant Pot. So the reason I really like making bone broth, chicken broth, chicken stock, whatever you want to call it, is because when we are making it ourselves, we can control the ingredients. We don't have any crazy additives or fillers or anything at all. We know exactly what's going into it. We can control the amount of salt, the amount of all the ingredients, all of that stuff. So here's what we're going to do. This is really as simple as it is. I'm going to take my Instant Pot. I'm going to put the whole kit and caboodle of bones and everything from the carcass of that rotisserie chicken. We're going to throw that in. I also have a quartered onion, just throwing it in. I have probably 3 or 4 carrots. I cut the tops and the bottoms off. You don't even have to really peel them. I take the outer skin of the onion off. Some people don't even do that. And then I have 3 garlic cloves that are peeled and smashed. Putting that all in there. Now, if you have some mushrooms and you wanted to add some mushrooms, that would be a really good idea. Mushrooms add a lot of umami and that extra flavor. I don't have that. So what I'm going to do instead is I make a dried mushroom powder where I take dried mushrooms. I'll link the recipe. It's from Nom Nom Paleo. I'll link the recipe in the description below. But I make that every few, a year, once a year or something like that. And I'll sprinkle this mushroom blend into eggs or into stews, into my bone broth like this. Also going to take a little bit of salt. I'm going to add a little bit now. And then once it's done, it's probably a teaspoon or so. Once it's done, I'm going to taste it and add even more to flavor. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna fill this up with water. And when I fill it up with water, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of fish oil. This, I really think, is the secret and key ingredient. So fish sauce, you may not think of that as an ingredient you would really want to add in. But you know what? It adds a lot of umami and a lot of that deepness, richness without it ever tasting or smelling fishy at all. This is used in a lot of Asian dishes, but I've also found it to be really just a good source of extra flavor for a lot of other foods as well. Now, the reason that I like to make bone broth is because when we're making it and we're really cooking out the marrow and everything in those bones, we're going to get a really collagenous, very rich broth at the end of the day, and it's really healthy for you. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to fill this up with water, and then I'm going to come back and tell you how we're going to set this. I filled this up as much as I possibly could with water, and now Duke has requested to help pour the fish sauce in. So I'm going to take a full tablespoon, and it has a very fishy smell. So you don't want to spill it on yourself. And you're adding it into the water already, so it's not, it's not splashing up onto you. So this is, like I said, as full as I could almost possibly get it. I'm going to put it in my Instant Pot. I'm going to set my Instant Pot at high pressure, and I'm going to do it for 45 minutes. So I'm going to set this at 45 minutes. If you're doing this in a crock pot, you're essentially doing the same thing, right? You're covering up the ingredients with water, and you're going to set it and you're going to forget it. It's a really easy way to do it as well. It just takes a lot longer. I mean, it takes 8, 12, 24 hours, depending on how much of that collagen that you really want to draw out of the chicken bones. the longer you let it in and let it cook, the more you're gonna get out of it. The same thing with stovetop. So stovetop, it takes a really long time, you know, that 12, 18, 24 hours kind of thing. You have to baby it a little bit more when you're dealing with it on the stovetop, because you wanna make sure that, you know, you're not having a water evaporation, that kind of thing. It's gonna go for the next 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna let it come down and naturally depressurize. So it'll probably take a total of about an hour, hour and 10 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, maybe a little longer than that. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna have gloriously delicious chicken broth. All right, bone broth is done. It is still really, really hot. I'm kind of moving us along a little faster than I would normally tonight, but that's because it's getting late and I want to show you guys how delicious this is going to be. So right now what I'm going to do, it has been cooking for a while. I am going to strain out all the stuff, and what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to probably put some into a mason jar and keep it in my refrigerator. So if you guys are looking for a very actually satisfying breakfast that doesn't take any effort, keep a jar of homemade bone broth in your refrigerator and heat it up. It's especially good on a winter morning because it's just really, really, it's warm and soothing. I think that's also why it's really, really good for if someone is not feeling well. We also will defrost some homemade bone broth if someone's not feeling well. Soothes the throat, tastes really good, and it's full of really good vitamins, minerals, all the stuff that your body needs if you're not feeling well to kind of fight off whatever bad bug is taking over. It's also, if you're drinking it like for breakfast, it also has a fairly high content of protein. So it's a good breakfast if you're just in a hurry, right? You can already see the golden tones of this. Now what I should do is I should taste this, see if it needs any salt added. I normally do add a little bit of salt. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour them into these silicone molds. Each of these molds holds, I'm going to say, about a half a cup, third cup. And so then I'll freeze these and I'll pop them out and keep them in a Ziploc bag. That way if I need to add in just a little bit of broth to whatever soup I'm making, or if I'm making risotto, or if I need just a little broth to make, actually broth makes fantastic quinoa. And cooking quinoa with broth instead of water adds actual flavor versus just blandness. But yeah, so I'm gonna fill these up. I'm gonna fill a mason jar up, and we're gonna enjoy this. This is gonna be delightful and yummy. Duke, do we like homemade broth? Yes? You do, don't you? But I wanted to tell you that this is, woo, that was hot. This is an adaptation out of the book by Nom Nom Paleo, Michelle Tam, and Henry Fong, Ready or Not. This is the author that I mentioned had the recipe for the mushroom powder. So I will link both of these in the show notes below so you can see them. There are a lot of really good recipes that I've made off of Nom Nom Paleo. Very, very flavor forward recipes. That's where I realized the importance of fish sauce in recipes. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make yourself some homemade bone broth. Use that carcass up. By the way, you can also use whatever other bones you might have as well. I've made this same recipe with ham bones, so I make a good ham stock, and that can get really gelatinous, especially if you have big, beefy bones that you're putting in. And if you're using that broth, then you can make a fantastic ham and bean and kale soup. Oh, so good. Beef broth, you can make homemade beef broth if you have beef stew bones as well. So very versatile recipe. Doesn't take a whole lot of time or effort, but the end result is just absolutely astonishing. So if you give it a try, let me know. And if you're already a fan of bone broth, drop me a comment below and tell me what your secret ingredient in your recipe is as well. So thanks for tuning in. Duke, thanks for your help in the kitchen today. Did you have fun? Yes. Stay tuned. I've got new episodes that come out every Monday and Thursday. And if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I super appreciate your support. So be well. Thank you.